I'm not here to call you out. I'm here to call you home. Because somewhere between boyhood and manhood, you were taught that love was weakness and hardness was survival. You were trained to stand tall even when your heart was collapsing. You were told to be strong even when nobody taught you how. But brother, what if the strength they taught you was actually the curse? What if the hardness wasn't protection but a prison? What if the armor you wear isn't keeping danger out, but keeping healing from getting in? I've watched men I love carry pain like it was part of their DNA. Fathers who were present in body but absent in spirit. Fathers who were gone altogether. Fathers who raised soldiers instead of sons because they thought the world would eat you alive if you ever dared to feel. But I've also watched the fallout. Boys who grew up too fast. Men who never learned to rest. Hearts that never learned to trust. Families that paid the price for wounds nobody ever named. And I'm not here to blame you. I'm here to tell you the truth. The curse works by pride. The blessing works by love. Pride taught you fear. Love teaches you faith. Pride taught you hide. Love teaches you to heal. Pride taught you to fight alone. Love teaches you to stand together. Jesus didn't start with rules. He didn't start with behavior. He didn't start with performance. He started with this. Love the Lord your God and love your neighbor as yourself. That's the foundation, that's the doorway, that's the blessing. And somewhere along the way, life taught you something different. Life taught you hardness. Life taught you silence. Life taught you pride. Life taught you fear. But Jesus said, a new command I give you, love one another. Not because it's easy, not because it's natural, not because you feel like it, but because love is the only thing strong enough to break what you broke. And if I complete it with the actual truth, what if everything you've been chasing was already waiting in the hands of God? What if the strength you're trying to build, the peace you're trying to hold, the love you're trying to earn, the approval you're trying to get, what if all of it was already yours the moment you trusted Him? Because Jesus said, seek first the kingdom, and all these things will be added unto you. What if that wasn't poetry? What if that was a blueprint? What if you didn't have to hustle for validation, fight for attention, or beg for love? What if God Himself was ready to fill every empty place so you never had to run on empty again? What if the only thing you needed to fulfill everything God called you to do was the one who called you? What if faith wasn't a feeling but a decision? A quiet, steady confidence that says, God is able, God is enough, God is my source. What if you stopped worrying about who likes you, who left you, who misunderstood you, who talked about you, who didn't show up for you? Because God said, if I am for you, who can be against you? What if you didn't have to fear being hurt or disappointed or let down because your heart wasn't in their hands anymore? What if God was the one who determined how people treated you, how they responded to you, how they showed up for you? What if all you had to do was trust Him and present love? Not because they deserve it, but because He is your source and love is what flows from Him. Because the Word says we love because He first loved us. What if you stopped expecting people to give you what only God can supply? What if you stopped letting fear predict your future and let faith rewrite your story? What if the blessing wasn't in what you receive, but in who you're connected to? Because Scripture says, in Him, all things hold together. Not in relationships, not in approval, not in validation, not in performance. In Him. What if your whole life could shift just by believing that God is your source and love is your assignment? Because faith works by love, and love works by God, and God works in you. This is the actual truth. If God is your source, you will never run out of love, of peace, of strength, of identity, of purpose, of joy, of hope, of you. Because everything you need flows from Him, and everything He gives cannot be taken. So, brother, this is where it begins. This is where you begin. This is where love begins again.